Commander Lisa Mitchell stood at the bridge of the U.S. Harbinger, her eyes fixed on the massive view screen before her. The darkness of space stretched endlessly, broken only by the distant stars and the strange readings that had brought them to the edge of the Sol system. Her brown hair was pulled back in a neat bun, and her blue uniform bore the marks of Earth Space Command's most decorated officers. "Commander, those energy signatures are getting stronger," First Lieutenant Peter Collins reported from his weapons station. His fingers danced across the holographic controls as he refined the sensor data. "Whatever's out there, it's big. Really big." Lisa nodded, her expression remaining calm despite the tension building in her chest. After 15 years in space, she had learned to trust her instincts. Right now, those instincts were screaming that something unprecedented was about to happen. "Keep scanning, Lieutenant. How far are we from Neptune's orbit?" "About 50,000 kilometers, ma'am." "Should I alert Earth Space Command?" Before Lisa could answer, the space in front of them seemed to tear apart. Massive ships emerged from what looked like tears in the fabric of reality itself. Their hulls were dark purple, covered in strange symbols that glowed with an eerie light. The ships were easily 5 times the size of the Harbinger, their designs unlike anything humanity had ever seen. "Alert Status 1. Lisa commanded, her voice steady but firm. "Get me a direct line to Admiral Wright. And Collins, power up our defensive systems, but keep weapons cold. We don't want to start a war today." The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency. Red alert lights bathed the pristine white walls in a crimson glow as officers rushed to their battle stations. The Harbinger's quantum computers hummed to life, preparing for any possible scenario. The alien ships arranged themselves in a formation that was clearly meant to intimidate. Their weapons ports were visible, though not yet active. A message came through their communication system, automatically translated by their eye. "Primitive species of Sol 3, this is High Commander Zixtal of the Zixteri Imperium. Your system now falls under our protection. Prepare for inspection and classification." Lisa exchanged glances with her communications officer. The alien's tone was condescending, treating Earth like some backwater planet that needed their oversight. She pressed a button on her chair, opening a channel. "This is Commander Lisa Mitchell of the Earth vessel U.S. Harbinger. We appreciate your offer of protection, but Earth and its colonies are sovereign territory. We would be happy to establish diplomatic relations as equals." There was a pause, followed by what sounded like laughter from the alien vessel. "Equals? Your species has barely left its cradle. Our empire spans 1,000 worlds. We detected your primitive fusion drives and radio signals. Step aside, and we will begin our inspection." One of the alien ships moved forward, its weapons powering up. Lisa felt her jaw tighten. They were being treated like children, and now these aliens were preparing to force their way into Earth's territory. "Collins," she said quietly, "activate the quantum shield matrix." Peter smiled slightly as his hands moved across his console. "With pleasure, Commander." The Harbinger's latest defensive technology came to life. A barely visible field of shimmering energy enveloped the ship, its surface rippling like water. The alien vessel fired what appeared to be some kind of plasma weapon, a warning shot that passed close to the Harbinger's bow. "Their weapon's energy reading is significant," Collins reported, "but nothing our shields can't handle." The alien ship suddenly launched a barrage of energy weapons, clearly intending to disable the human vessel. But as the plasma bolts struck the Harbinger's quantum shields, something unexpected happened. The energy was not only absorbed but redirected, creating a spectacular display of light that left the shields completely intact. Silence filled the communication channel. When High Commander Zixtal spoke again, the condescension in his voice was replaced by confusion. "Impossible. Your defensive capabilities. Explain this immediately." Lisa allowed herself a small smile. "As I said, High Commander, we would be happy to establish diplomatic relations as equals. Earth may be young by your standards, but we've learned a few things along the way." She nodded to her communications officer, who sent a signal back to Earth Space Command. Within minutes, more human ships emerged from behind Neptune, their quantum drives leaving trails of blue energy. Each vessel was equipped with the same defensive technology, their shields glimmering in the dim sunlight. Admiral Howard Wright's voice came through the command channel. "Commander Mitchell, I see you've met our visitors. Good work on handling first contact. Now, let's show them what else humanity has been working on." The human fleet took formation around the Harbinger. From their hangars, squadrons of smaller craft emerged, their hulls protected by the same quantum shield technology. The display was purposeful but not aggressive, a clear message that humanity was not to be underestimated. High Commander Zixtal's next transmission carried a notably different tone. "Perhaps we should discuss these diplomatic relations you mentioned." Over the next few hours, more alien ships arrived, but this time as observers. News spread quickly through their communications networks about the species that had developed quantum shield technology independently. The humans they had dismissed as primitive had mastered principles of physics that even the oldest galactic civilizations were still theorizing about. In her ready room, Lisa read the preliminary reports from Earth Space Command. The Zixteri Imperium was already reaching out through proper diplomatic channels, their earlier demands of protection forgotten. Other alien civilizations were sending requests for contact, eager to learn more about this surprising new species. Peter Collins entered with a data pad, grinning. "Commander, you should see this. Our quantum shields didn't just stop their weapons, they completely confused their sensor systems. They thought we were using some kind of ancient technology they'd only heard about in legends." Lisa took the pad, scanning the technical data. Sometimes the best way to make friends is to show them you can't be pushed around. "Send this to engineering. I want a full analysis of how our shields performed against their weapons." As she looked out her window at the assembled fleets, human and alien ships now facing each other with cautious respect rather than hostility, Lisa couldn't help but feel proud. Humanity had faced its first major galactic test and passed with flying colors, not through aggression or submission, but by demonstrating that they were more advanced than anyone had expected. The door chimed again, and her yeoman entered with another message from Admiral Wright. The Galactic Council was calling an emergency session to discuss humanity's emergence as a spacefaring power. Earth would need representatives, and the Admiral wanted the crew of the Harbinger to be there. "Looks like we've got more work to do," Lisa said, standing up and straightening her uniform. "Tell the crew to prepare for a longer mission. We're about to show the galaxy what humanity is really capable of." As she walked back to the bridge, Lisa could feel the excitement among her crew. They had just made history, but somehow she knew this was only the beginning. The quantum shield matrix was just one of many technological achievements humanity had developed. If the aliens were surprised by their defensive capabilities, they were in for many more surprises in the days to come. The stars seemed a little brighter through the Harbinger's view screen as Lisa took her command chair. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, and no one would ever mistake them for a primitive species again. Chief Engineer Susan Martinez walked through the halls of the Galactic Council's space station, her footsteps echoing in the vast corridor. Behind her, a group of alien diplomats struggled to keep up, their various appendages working overtime as they hurried along. Their eyes, ranging from 2 to 8 per being, were all fixed on the device she carried, a small piece of human technology that had turned their understanding of warfare upside down. "As you can see," Susan explained, holding up the handheld device, "this is just a basic control unit for our nano-regenerative hull plating. When damage occurs, the nanites automatically repair the breach, using surrounding material as raw resources." The aliens murmured in their native languages, their universal translators working overtime to keep up with the technical terms. A tall crystalline being stepped forward. The architect of war for the Galactic Council, known simply as Master Crix. "Impossible." Crix's crystalline form vibrated as it spoke. The energy requirements for such rapid material reconstruction would be. Susan pressed a button, and a holographic display appeared, showing the exact power calculations. The aliens fell silent, their expressions ranging from disbelief to awe. Back on the U.S. Harbinger, Lieutenant Commander Jack Freeman was giving another kind of demonstration. He stood in the ship's training room, wearing what looked like a simple black bodysuit. Alien observers watched from behind reinforced glass as he faced off against training drones. The neural-linked combat suit, Jack explained, his voice calm despite the dozen attack drones circling him, reads the wearer's intentions microseconds before they act. It's like having a second nervous system. The drones attacked simultaneously, firing training lasers from all directions. Jack moved with impossible speed, the suit enhancing his natural reflexes. Each movement was precise, efficient, and faster than any organic being should be capable of. Within seconds, all 12 drones were disabled. By integrating quantum computing with human neural patterns, he continued, not even out of breath, we've created a perfect synthesis of human intuition and machine precision. In another section of the station, Commander Lisa Mitchell sat in a conference room with High Commander Zixtal and representatives from 15 other species. The topic of discussion was Earth's dark matter torpedoes, weapons that had never been seen before in the galaxy. The principle is quite simple, Lisa explained, using terms that had been carefully chosen for their simplicity. We don't actually fire the torpedo. We create a corridor of dark matter that pulls the target into a controlled implosion. No radiation, no collateral damage, just clean, precise ship disablement. A hologram showed the weapon in action during a test, causing a derelict ship to collapse in on itself with surgical precision. The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Your species, Zixtal spoke carefully, his earlier arrogance completely gone, has developed all this in just over a century of spaceflight. Necessity breeds innovation, Lisa replied with a diplomatic smile. When you're a young species knowing you're not alone in the galaxy, you tend to prepare for every possibility. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Howard Wright was hosting another group of alien dignitaries at the Space Command Headquarters in Colorado. The mountain facility had been opened for the first time to foreign visitors, showing them carefully selected examples of human military innovation. What you're seeing here, Howard gestured to a massive holographic display, is just the beginning. Earth's defense industries have been working overtime since we confirmed the existence of alien life decades ago. We believed in being prepared. The aliens watched as the display showed Earth's planetary defense grid, a network of satellites equipped with quantum shields and various weapon systems. But what caught their attention was the AI-driven response system that could react to threats faster than any organic commander. Your artificial intelligence, one of the visitors noted, it's not fully autonomous. No, Howard confirmed. We learned from our fiction. Our eyes are partners, not replacements. They handle the calculations and predictions, but strategic decisions remain in human hands. Back on the Harbinger, Peter Collins was explaining the principles behind their quantum tunneling missiles to a group of alien weapons experts. The missiles could technically pass through any known shield by briefly existing in another dimension, a concept that seemed to give the alien scientists headaches. The key was understanding that space isn't just three-dimensional, Peter said, pointing to a technical diagram. Once we figured out how to safely tunnel through higher dimensions, the applications became obvious. Susan Martinez had finished her presentation and was now answering questions about human manufacturing techniques. The aliens were particularly interested in how Earth had managed to miniaturize quantum technology to such a degree. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come from thinking small, she explained, showing them a microscopic quantum processor. We realized early on that bigger isn't always better. Why build a massive shield generator when you can have millions of tiny ones working together? The day of demonstrations continued, with each revelation causing more excitement and concern among the alien observers. Earth's combat technology wasn't just advanced, it was advanced in ways no one had predicted. While other species had focused on making their existing weapons bigger and more powerful, humans had taken entirely different approaches to solving the same problems. In her private quarters that evening, Lisa reviewed the day's reports with satisfaction. The Drachnid Collective, ancient enemies of the Zixteri, had already sent diplomatic feelers to Earth. 3 other species had requested technology exchange programs, and the Galactic Council was drafting new protocols for dealing with emergent sophisticated species, a category created specifically because of humanity. "Commander," her computer announced, "Admiral Wright is requesting a secure channel." The Admiral's hologram appeared in her room, his expression serious but pleased. "Good work today, Commander. How are our guests taking it all in?" "About as well as can be expected, sir. I think we've made our point without being threatening, though I'm a bit concerned about how quickly some of them want to establish military alliances." Howard nodded. "Keep them interested but non-committal. Earth's policy is clear. We're happy to join the galactic community, but we're not taking sides in their existing conflicts." As the day wound down, the alien visitors prepared to return to their ships. Their departing conversations were filled with a mix of respect, fear, and curiosity about humanity. They had come expecting to find a primitive species barely out of its cradle. Instead, they had found a civilization that had developed combat technology that would revolutionize warfare throughout the galaxy. In the station's observation lounge, Susan sat with Master Crix, watching the Earth ships patrol the system. The crystalline being had been quiet for several minutes, its faceted surface reflecting the starlight. "Your species," Crix finally spoke, "you developed all this because you were afraid of us." Susan considered the question carefully. "Not afraid," she corrected. "Cautious. Humans have a saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. We hoped to meet friendly aliens, but we prepared to meet hostile ones. It turns out that preparation has made friendship more likely, not less." As the alien ships departed one by one, the crew of the Harbinger knew that everything had changed. Humanity had revealed only a fraction of their technological capabilities, but it was enough. The galaxy now knew that the newest species on the block was not to be underestimated. In her ready room, Lisa began preparing her report for Earth Space Command. The title was simple: First Contact Technology Demonstration, Day 1. She smiled as she typed, knowing that tomorrow would bring even more surprises. After all, they hadn't even shown their visitors the really impressive stuff yet. The message arrived at Earth Space Command at exactly 3:47 a.m. Earth time. Dr. Kevin Palmer was the first to notice something unusual about it. He sat in his lab, surrounded by quantum computers and communication equipment, his coffee getting cold as he studied the data stream. "Admiral Wright," he called through the secure channel, "you need to see this. The Drachnid Collective isn't just asking for an alliance anymore. They're offering us everything: their star maps, their shield technology, their weapons designs." Howard Wright arrived at the lab within minutes, his uniform slightly wrinkled from a rush dressing. He looked at the scrolling data with careful eyes. "And what's your assessment, Doctor?" Kevin pushed his glasses up and pointed to specific parts of the message. "They're scared, sir. Not of us, of the Zixteri. Our intelligence suggests the Zixteri are planning something big, and the Drachnids want our protection." Across the solar system, Captain Diane Russell was already dealing with the results of these political moves. Her task force of 5 ships patrolled the outer colonies, their sensors on high alert. The experimental weaponry they carried had never been tested in actual combat, but that might change soon. "Contact," her sensor officer called out. 3 Zixteri warships just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. They're heading toward the colony on Europa. Diane straightened in her command chair. "Show me." The holographic display revealed 3 massive purple ships, their designs now familiar to human forces. But something was different about these vessels. They were carrying new weapons. "This is Captain Diane Russell of Earth Space Command," she broadcast. "You are entering restricted space. State your intentions." The reply came in the form of a weapons discharge, a new type of energy beam, different from anything they'd seen before, lanced out toward her ship. But the quantum shields held firm, absorbing and dissipating the attack. "Well," Diane said calmly, "I guess they want to test our defenses. Let's show them our new toys." Launch quantum tunneling missiles, pattern Delta. The missiles emerged from her ships, seemingly normal projectiles at first. Then they disappeared, sliding between dimensions, only to reappear inside the Zixteri shields. The alien vessels shuddered as their systems were disrupted by precise strikes. Back on Earth, Dr. Kevin Palmer was making a breakthrough that would change everything. He stood before Admiral Wright and a group of senior officers, his excitement barely contained. "We've done it," he announced. "True quantum entanglement communications, instant messaging across any distance, completely secure, impossible to intercept. The Zixteri won't be able to predict our movements anymore." The implications were enormous. Until now, all species relied on faster-than-light communications that could be intercepted and decoded. But quantum entanglement communication was different. It was instant and impossible to tap into. On the U.S. Harbinger, Commander Lisa Mitchell received the update about the new communication system. She was in the middle of a tense situation herself. A group of Zixteri ships had been shadowing her vessel for 3 days. "Commander," Peter Collins reported from his station, "they're moving into attack formation." Lisa nodded. "They want to see more of our capabilities. Send a message to Task Force 7 using the new quantum comm system. Tell Captain Russell we might need some backup." The Zixteri ships opened fire, using their new weapons. But humanity had been busy too. The Harbinger's upgraded quantum shields didn't just absorb the attack. They redirected it, sending the energy back at the attackers. "Their shields are holding," Peter reported, "but they're surprised. They didn't expect us to be able to reverse engineer their weapons so quickly." Lisa allowed herself a small smile. "Launch the new drones. Let's show them another surprise." Small, sleek drones emerged from the Harbinger's launch bays. These weren't ordinary remote vehicles. They were equipped with miniaturized versions of the ship's quantum technology. The drones moved with impossible speed, their AI systems coordinating with human operators through the quantum comm network. The Zixteri ships found themselves surrounded by dozens of small, highly maneuverable craft that could match their every move. When they tried to retreat, they found their engines disrupted by precisely targeted quantum pulses. "Commander," her communications officer called out, "we're getting signals from multiple Drachnid ships. They're offering to assist us." Lisa shook her head. "Tell them we appreciate the offer, but we have the situation under control. We're not looking to escalate this into a larger conflict." The Zixteri commander finally opened a channel. "Your weapons, your defenses. How is this possible? We are one of the oldest spacefaring races in the galaxy. Age doesn't always equal innovation," Lisa replied. "Sometimes fresh perspectives lead to new solutions. Now, shall we discuss this situation diplomatically, or do you want to see what else we've developed?" The alien ships powered down their weapons. Around the solar system, other Zixteri vessels began retreating from human space. The show of force had worked. For now. In his lab, Kevin Palmer was already working on the next breakthrough. The quantum entanglement communication system was just the beginning. He had theories about using similar principles for defensive screens that could make entire planets virtually invulnerable. Captain Russell's task force regrouped near Europa, their ship's automated repair systems already fixing the minor damage they'd sustained. The quantum tunneling missiles had performed better than expected, proving that humanity's technological edge was real. "Send a full report to command," she ordered. "They'll want to know how the new systems performed in actual combat conditions." The news spread quickly through the galaxy. Human combat technology wasn't just advanced. It was revolutionary. Species that had been fighting the same way for millennia suddenly found themselves facing a newcomer who changed the rules of space warfare. Several alien races began to fear humanity's rapid advancement. Others sought alliances, hoping to benefit from human innovation. The Galactic Council called for calm, but even they couldn't ignore the shift in power that was occurring. Admiral Wright stood in his office, looking out at the Rocky Mountains as he read the reports from various human ships. The Zixteri were retreating, but intelligence suggested they were gathering a larger fleet. The Drachnids were still pushing for an alliance. 3 other species had requested technology exchange programs. "Sir," his aide entered with another report, "the Harbinger is reporting total success with the new quantum comm system. They're ready to begin upgrading the rest of the fleet." Howard nodded. "Tell them to proceed. And send word to our research facilities. I want every new development tested and ready for deployment. Something tells me we're going to need everything we've got soon." As night fell over Earth, the planet's defense grid hummed quietly, its quantum shields ready to protect humanity's homeworld. In space, human ships continued their patrols, their crews confident in their technology and training. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was the cause. Their combat technology had proved superior not through brute force, but through innovation and new ways of thinking. The question now was, how would the older species react to this shift in power? In her quarters on the Harbinger, Lisa Mitchell reviewed the day's events. The Zixteri had tested them, and humanity had passed with flying colors. But she knew this was just the beginning. The real test would come when the Zixteri returned with their full force, and they would return. "At least now," she said to herself, looking at the stars through her window. "They know we're ready for them." Commander Christina Myers stood in the Proxima Defense Command Center, her eyes fixed on the massive holographic display showing hundreds of incoming ships. The Zixteri had finally made their move, just as Earth's intelligence had predicted. Their fleet was massive, over 300 warships strong. "All civilian ships have been evacuated," her assistant reported. "Colony shields are at maximum power. The quantum communication network is stable." Christina nodded, her face calm despite the gravity of the situation. "Send word to Lieutenant Andrew Patterson. It's time to deploy the Chronoshield destroyer." In the space above Proxima Centauri's largest colony, Earth's defense fleet took position. 40 ships, each equipped with humanity's latest combat technology, prepared to face an enemy that outnumbered them 7-1. But numbers weren't everything, especially not in this war. Lieutenant Andrew Patterson sat in the cockpit of the U.S. Timekeeper, humanity's newest weapon. The ship looked different from other human vessels. Its hull was covered in strange patterns that seemed to shift and move in the starlight. This was the prototype Chronoshield destroyer, and today would be its first real combat test. "All systems are green," Andrew reported, his hand steady on the controls. "Chronoshield is powered up and stable, ready to execute Defense Plan Alpha." The Zixteri fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel in a massive display of purple energy. Their ships had changed since their last encounter. Bigger, heavily armored, with weapons designed specifically to counter human quantum shields. "This is High Commander Zixtal," the familiar voice broadcast across all channels. "Surrender your colony and submit to our authority, or face annihilation. You have 10 minutes to comply." Christina's response was simple. "All ships, execute Defense Plan Alpha. Show them what we've learned." The battle began with a massive energy barrage from the Zixteri fleet. Their new weapons were impressive, designed to overwhelm quantum shields through sheer power. But humanity had been preparing for this. Andrew activated the Timekeeper's Chronoshield. Unlike normal shields that blocked or absorbed energy, the Chronoshield actually slowed time around the ship. Enemy fire seemed to crawl through space, giving human gunners plenty of time to analyze and counter each attack. "Point defense systems, engage," Christina ordered. The space around the human fleet came alive with thousands of small automated drones. Each one carried a miniature quantum shield and targeting system. They'd moved in perfect coordination, guided by advanced AI systems that could predict enemy movements seconds before they happened. The Six Terry's first wave of attacks didn't just fail. They never reached their targets. The Point Defense Network created a wall of intercepting fire that caught and neutralized every incoming shot. Launch quantum tunneling missiles, Christina commanded. Pattern Omega-3. Hundreds of missiles launched from the human ships, disappearing into quantum space before reappearing inside the Six Terry formation. But the aliens had learned from their previous encounters. Their ships now had countermeasures that could detect the quantum signatures of the tunneling missiles. What they weren't prepared for was the next phase of the battle. Andrew moved the timekeeper into position, its chronoshield creating a bubble of altered time that extended around several Six Terry ships. Inside this bubble, the alien vessels moved in slow motion, their reactions delayed by seconds that felt like minutes to them. "This is impossible." Zixtol's voice crackled through the comm system. "You cannot manipulate time itself." Christina allowed herself a small smile. "Actually, High Commander, we've been doing it for years. We just never had a reason to show you until now." The battle continued to unfold in 3 dimensions, with human ships demonstrating superior maneuverability and coordination. The quantum communication network allowed them to react instantly to any threat, their movements choreographed with precision that looked almost beautiful. Earth's fleet moved in complex patterns that confused the Six Terry targeting systems. Ships would appear to be in one place, only to quantum tunnel to another position instantly. The Chronoshield destroyer created pockets of slowed time that trapped enemy vessels, making them easy targets for conventional weapons. But the Six Terry weren't defeated easily. They launched waves of their own fighter craft, thousands of small ships that threatened to overwhelm the human defenses through sheer numbers. "Deploy the swarm," Christina ordered. From the colony's surface, millions of tiny drones launched into space. Each one was no bigger than a human hand, but together they formed a cloud of intelligent defenders. The drones used quantum entanglement to coordinate their movements, creating complex 3-dimensional patterns that caught and destroyed incoming fighters. Andrew used the timekeeper's special capabilities to full effect, creating corridors of slowed time that functioned like walls in space, channeling enemy ships into killing zones where Earth's weapons could target them efficiently. "Man," a sensor operator called out, "they're bringing in their super dreadnought." A massive ship, easily 10 times the size of any other vessel in the battle, emerged from faster-than-light travel. Its weapons were already charging, preparing to fire what looked like a planet killer beam. Christina remained calm. "Lieutenant Patterson, execute maneuver Theta." The timekeeper moved into position, its chronoshield expanding to its maximum range. As the super dreadnought fired its main weapon, time itself seemed to bend around the beam. The massive energy discharge, which could have destroyed the colony, was caught in a bubble of slowed time, giving the human fleet precious seconds to respond. "All ships, concentrate fire on these coordinates," Christina ordered, marking weak points in the super dreadnought's design that their AI had identified. Human vessels launched a coordinated attack, their weapons enhanced by the time distortion field created by the timekeeper. The massive alien ship shields buckled under the precise assault. Quantum tunneling missiles slipped through gaps in its defenses, while point defense drones swarmed around it, disrupting its targeting systems. High Commander Zixtol's voice came through again, this time with none of its usual arrogance. How have you mastered technologies that we thought impossible?" "Because we never assumed anything was impossible," Christina replied. "Hold your fire, High Commander. Let's end this before more lives are lost." The battle had lasted less than an hour, but its outcome would change the galaxy forever. The Six Terry fleet, for the first time in their 1,000-year history, was forced to retreat. Their super dreadnought, pride of their navy, limped away with severe damage, escorted by the surviving ships of their once mighty armada. In the aftermath, Andrew landed the timekeeper at the colony's main spaceport. Engineers swarmed around the ship, eager to study how its systems had performed in actual combat. The chronoshield technology had exceeded all expectations, proving that humanity's theoretical physics had practical applications that could revolutionize warfare. Christina stood in the command center, watching the cleanup operations on the main display. The human fleet had suffered minimal casualties, thanks to their superior technology and tactics. The point defense network had proven nearly perfect, while the quantum tunneling missiles and chronoshield had changed the very nature of space combat. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "Tell them the Battle of Proxima is over. The colony is safe, and we've demonstrated our full defensive capabilities." As repair crews worked to clear the debris of battle from Proxima's orbit, the news spread across the galaxy. Humanity hadn't just won a defensive battle. They had showcased combat technology that made traditional space warfare obsolete. The age of massive fleets and brute force attacks was over, replaced by an era of precise, coordinated warfare where technology and innovation mattered more than numbers. In her private office, Christina began writing her report on the battle. The title was simple: The Defense of Proxima, a New Era in Galactic Warfare. She knew that after today, everything would change. The galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council sparkled with light from 1,000 stars visible through its transparent dome. Ambassador Richard Turner stood at the center of the circular room, surrounded by representatives from over 50 alien species. The mood was tense. This emergency session had been called immediately after news of the Battle of Proxima spread across the galaxy. The humans didn't just win a battle, a Drachnid representative was saying, their crystalline form shimmering with excitement. They changed the very nature of space warfare. Their chronoshield technology alone makes traditional fleet actions obsolete. Richard remained calm, his gray suit neat and professional as he addressed the gathered representatives. "Earth doesn't seek dominance," he said, his voice clear and firm. "We only wish to ensure our safety and independence. That's why we're willing to share some of our defensive technologies with peaceful civilizations." In orbit above Earth, Chief Scientist Mary Douglas was giving Admiral Howard Wright a tour of her newest creation. The research station's main lab held what looked like a simple silver sphere floating in a containment field. "This," Mary explained, her eyes bright with enthusiasm, "is the next generation of quantum shield technology. Instead of just defending against attacks, it can redirect energy to power our systems. The more they attack, the stronger we become." Howard studied the device carefully. "And you're sure it's safe?" "Completely. We've run over 10,000 simulations. The quantum eye confirms it's stable and ready for testing." Back in the council chamber, the Zixteri representative was speaking, his earlier arrogance replaced by careful diplomacy. "The Imperium recognizes humanity's right to exist as an independent power. We seek a formal peace treaty." Richard nodded. "Earth accepts, with conditions. All colonies within 50 light-years of Sol will be recognized as human territory. Additionally, we want free trade routes established throughout the galaxy." The council chamber erupted in discussion. 50 light-years was a massive territory for such a young species, but after the display at Proxima, no one was eager to argue. On the U.S. Harbinger, Commander Lisa Mitchell watched the council proceedings through the quantum communication network. Her ship had been upgraded with the latest technology, including a prototype of Mary's new shield system. "Commander," Peter Collins called from his station, "we're picking up unusual readings from the edge of the system. It looks like a ship using our quantum tunneling technology." Lisa smiled. "Right on schedule. Tell Dr. Palmer his quantum signature detection system works perfectly. We can now track any ship using technology based on our designs." In her lab on Earth, Mary Douglas was already working on the next breakthrough. Holographic displays showed complex equations floating in the air around her as she refined the designs for a planetary defense system unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. "The principle is simple," she explained to her team. "We extend the chronoshield effect to cover an entire planet. Anyone trying to attack would find themselves moving through molasses while we operate at normal speed." The Galactic Council session continued as more species signed the new peace treaties. Richard stood firm on Earth's conditions while remaining diplomatic. The balance of power had shifted, but humanity was determined to use its advantage wisely. Furthermore, Richard announced, Earth will establish a technology exchange program. Peaceful species can learn our defensive innovations in return for sharing their own knowledge. We believe cooperation will benefit everyone more than conflict. In the council chamber's private meeting rooms, Ambassador Richard Turner sat with representatives from the Drachnid Collective and several other major powers. They were discussing the formation of a new organization, the Galactic Defense Initiative. The purpose, Richard explained, is to ensure peace through shared defense technology. No more arms races, no more secret weapons. We pool our knowledge to protect everyone. The aliens were surprised by this approach. Most species hoarded their military secrets, using them as leverage. But humans were offering to share their advantages, turning potential enemies into allies. Back on Earth, Admiral Wright was reviewing the latest reports with his staff. The quantum communication network now extended throughout human space, allowing instant coordination between all Earth forces. The chronoshield technology was being adapted for civilian use, with applications in space travel and colony protection. The galaxy is changing, he told his officers. Our job now is to make sure it changes for the better. In her private lab, Mary Douglas made another breakthrough. She rushed to share the news with Admiral Wright, her tablet filled with calculations and simulations. We've done it, she announced, barely containing her excitement. We found a way to extend quantum tunneling technology to faster-than-light travel. No more limitation by standard FTL physics. We can go anywhere in the galaxy almost instantly. The implications were enormous. With this technology, humanity could respond to any threat, anywhere, in moments. But more importantly, it would revolutionize peaceful space travel and exploration. At the Galactic Council, the final treaties were being signed. Richard stood with representatives from former enemy species, all now committed to a new era of cooperation. The Zixtari, once so dismissive of humanity, were among the first to join the Galactic Defense Initiative. We were wrong about your species, High Commander Zixtal admitted privately to Richard. We thought age brought wisdom, but you've shown us that innovation and new perspectives are just as valuable. On the Harbinger, Lisa received the news of the treaties with satisfaction. Her ship had been chosen to lead the first joint human-alien exploration mission, using Earth's new drive technology to map unexplored regions of the galaxy. It's interesting, she said to Peter as they prepared for the mission. We developed all this technology preparing for war, but it might be most valuable in maintaining peace. Peter nodded, checking the ship's upgraded systems. The quantum shields that protect us from weapons work just as well against natural phenomena. The chronoshield technology that won the Battle of Proxima could help us study dangerous astronomical events safely. In her lab, Mary was already working on the next generation of innovations. Her team had grown to include alien scientists, each bringing their own perspective to human technology. The combination of different scientific traditions was leading to discoveries that neither humans nor aliens could have made alone. The future, she told her diverse team, isn't about whose technology is better. It's about what we can achieve together. As the day ended, Richard stood in the council chamber one last time. The treaties were signed, the new alliances formed. Humanity had emerged from its first galactic crisis stronger than ever, not through conquest, but through innovation and diplomacy. We came to the stars prepared for war, he told the assembled representatives, but we found something better. We found partners for peace, allies in exploration, and friends in the vast darkness of space. The galaxy had indeed entered a new era. Human combat technology had changed the balance of power, but humanity's willingness to share its innovations had changed something even more fundamental, the way species viewed each other. In Earth's orbit, the U.S. Harbinger prepared for its historic mission. Its crew, both human and alien, worked together with the newest technology from a dozen worlds. The ship's quantum shield sparkled in the sunlight, no longer just a weapon of war, but a symbol of protection and progress. As Lisa Mitchell looked out at the stars from her command chair, she smiled. They had proved themselves in battle, but their greatest achievements still lay ahead. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries and wonders waiting to be explored. And now, thanks to human innovation and cooperation, they could explore it together in peace.